Gonna be 70 on Monday.
Are you serious?
Go ahead and have a seat right here. They're ready for you.
Hello.
Hello,
Recording
how are
in
you,
progress.
sir?
Pretty good. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. My name is Mrs. Fields. Would you please state your name and DOC number for the record?
Michael Force, 167341.
All right, Mr. Force. As I said, my name is Mrs. Fields. I'm joined on camera today by my colleagues, Mr. Helbig and Mr. Deglow. We are the 3 parole board members that will be conducting your parole eligibility hearing today. You have had a parole eligibility hearing last year in April, I believe.
Yes, ma'am.
At that time, you were interviewed by 2 parole board members.
Yes.
Since that time, there's been some legislative changes that have taken place, and we're required to operate in panels of 3. It does not change the manner in which we conduct a hearing. It just changes the fact that there's 3 of us appearing with you rather than 2. We all have to make a unanimous decision in your parole eligibility. Do you understand that? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. Like your last parole eligibility hearing, you may notice that the parole board members aren't always focusing directly on you or looking directly at the camera. We've got lots of notes. We've got multiple computer screens that has information about you. All this is so we can ensure that we offer you the best possible parole eligibility interview today and come to a decision that is best for you in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So we're not ignoring you by any means, okay?
All right.
All right, sir. As you're aware, we start off today's hearing by reading your resident record card. So if you'll bear with me throughout this whole process, if you foresee there's any discrepancies in this, you would need to take that up with the Department of Corrections since they are the keeper of this record and we have no control over the information that's in the resident record card. Okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'll start with your information. I have Michael A. Force, DOC number 167341. I have that you're 47 years of age. You're being housed medium custody there at Little Sandy Correctional Complex. Your parole eligibility is March of 2025. You are serving a 20-year sentence for the following convictions: robbery 2nd degree, burglary 1st degree, persistent felony offender, possession of a controlled substance 1st degree, 1st offense, cocaine, promoting contraband 1st degree, and there's 2 counts of that, attempting to escape from penitentiary, assault under extreme emotional disturbance, and possession of a controlled substance 1st degree, 1st offense, methamphetamine. I have that you have served approximately 20 years and 8 months, and you have approximately 5 years, 5 months remaining. I do see that you have been given the opportunity and the privilege of parole from March the 1st of 2022 to May the 23rd of 2023. You were out for 448 days. I do not see that you have any holds or detainers. I do see that you have non-restorable good time loss of 1,463 days, restorable good time loss of 493 days. Does all this information sound correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. We're going to start by going through your charges. And you be honest with me. Tell me what happened, the circumstances surrounding the reason you were convicted of these charges, okay? Your robbery charge out of Jefferson County. And then the burglary first. Those were both under the same indictment number.
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened? Who did you rob? What did you do?
I stole some stuff out of a car and some guy ran up on me and I was on drugs and I got out and put my hands up to fight them. And that's how they got me on, I think it was the robbery, how they got me on the robbery. I didn't have no weapons or nothing. And then the burglary is where I took something out of a house and they got me for burglary.
Okay. During that burglary, did you threaten the homeowner?
No, I didn't threaten nobody.
Okay. What about if your PSI says that there was a home break-in and you threatened him with an ice pick?
No, there was no ice pick. The car, I got out and put my hands up like I was going to fight them. I thought that's what they got me the robbery for. But I stole something out of my buddy's house and they got me for the burglary in the home.
Okay. So you contend that there never was an ice pick involved.
No, ma'am. I believe that was, I think 2002 or 2003.
Yeah, it was 2003. You're right there.
Yeah, it was my buddy's house, and I picked something up and walked out with it, and he called the cops on me.
Was your buddy Paul
Yeah, he was an older guy.
Lanham?
Yeah, I cut his grass and all that stuff for him. I was his grass cutter, and I was in his house, and I picked something up and walked out with it, and he called
Okay.
the cops on me.
The PSI states that on 4/9 of 03, the defendant forced entry into the home of Paul Lanham. He threatened Mr. Lanham with an ice pick and punched him in the face.
No, I never hurt the guy. He was an older guy. I cut his grass every week for him. We were in his house, and he went out of the room, and I picked something up and left.
Okay.
Cops got called on me, and they arrested me a couple days later.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure where the discrepancy is in that, but we will come to our own conclusions possibly as to what, what took place there. Okay. And then moving on, let's talk about your possession charge and the promoting contraband. So you had possession of cocaine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Was this while you were incarcerated in Jefferson County?
Yeah, I had it, and I got locked up with it, and they found it on me inside the jail.
Okay. It said it was 1 bag of crack cocaine,
Yes, ma'am.
2 metal cylinders, and tobacco cigarette.
Yes,
How
it was a
much
lighter.
cocaine did you have?
It was like $20 worth. It was a lighter and cigarettes too.
Okay. And then while you were the inmate, you dismantled a smoke detector?
Yes, I was gonna cut myself, and they caught me. I used to
Okay.
be a cutter. I used to hurt myself a lot when I was a kid, and when I got locked up, I seen the smoke detector, and I took a piece of metal out of it.
Okay. Let me jump back to the cocaine a minute. So were you a user of cocaine at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
And you said that while you committed these robbery and burglaries, you were under the influence?
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
was smoking
What were you smoking at that time?
the coke, the crack.
Okay. All right, sir. So, and then you attempted to escape from the penitentiary.
Yes, ma'am. 2007.
Mm-hmm. Didn't work out too good, did it?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
My mom. Sorry.
Go ahead.
My mom and dad just passed away, and being stupid, I was mad, and I jumped in the trash truck, and they got me for attempted escape at Eddyville Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you got 2 years for that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then while you were at Eddyville, you caught an assault charge.
Yes, ma'am.
You assaulted another inmate?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me the circumstances surrounding that.
When he come up on me, I had a pencil in my hand, and I swung it at him, and it cut him, and they got me for the assault, gave me 3 years for it.
And he was injured, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
He had some puncture wounds?
Yes.
Okay. So you said you got 3 years for that. Okay. Now we're to the possession of a controlled substance, first degree, first offense meth. This is the charge that brought you back in off of parole, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the situation surrounding that. Why could you not realize the gift of parole and stay straight?
I got out, and I was doing good at first, but my mistake was going to my brother James's house, and he was selling drugs, and he kept asking me to deliver some stuff for him, and I finally went and deliver some stuff, and I ended up doing it a couple of times, and that's when they caught me when I took some stuff over to Eddie's house. That's when they caught me with the stuff that was on me. But I
They
got
caught you with quite a bit of stuff.
yes, it was marijuana, it was some meth, and I think some spice.
Mm-hmm.
I had it in a bag, and they locked me up. The mistake was going to my brother's house. I didn't know he was doing drugs and selling drugs, and I helped him out. Made a mistake and made the wrong decision.
I mean, there
And helped
was
him out.
said there was 33.9 grams of
Meth.
green leafy substance, which I assume was marijuana.
Yes, ma'am.
13.7 grams of crystal substance suspected as meth.
Yes.
I mean, that's a substantial amount of drugs you had.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you using at that time?
No, I wasn't using. I was out there on pro. I had a job. I was doing good, but my mistake was helping my brother out, or thinking I was helping him out while he's telling me I got to go do this or go this to earn my living at his house. My big mistake was even going to a family member's house. I didn't know he was selling and doing drugs when I got out there. When I got out, that's when I found out about it.
Okay. I mean, you have a long history of usage.
Yes.
It started back when you was about 13 years of age.
Yes, ma'am. My dad's the one that got me smoking it when I was a kid and doing drugs when I was a kid.
Okay. What were you smoking at such a young age?
Weed, and he was giving us beer and he'd give us Coke, and all around 13, he was giving us Coke.
Are
I
you
grew up
serious?
with-
Wow.
He passed away in 2007.
Hmm. That's sad. I mean, because you've used about everything possible throughout, correct?
Yes, I've never shot
You've
up anything.
experimented with a lot of stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
What have you learned from that?
That if I keep doing drugs, this is going to be my life for the rest of my life, and that's not what I want. I know it's not. I could do it without the drugs. I've gotten sap. I'm looking at a better life. I took some degrees on the Dova to help me in the path of getting back in my GED and all that stuff. But I know drugs ain't for me.
We'll get into your programming here in just a minute. Let's talk about your criminal history. You're 47. Looks like your criminal history started about when you was at age 28 or so. And that was when you had some burglary charges and different things like that at that time. Were you breaking in places to support a habit
Yes.
back in 97?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what's surrounding the stalking that took place in 99, if you recall that.
But that was in the county jail, I think. I'm not for sure. I don't know if that was at Eddyville.
There was a harassing communications at that time as well. So, but it was dismissed. So, was there a female involved or something that you were
My baby's mom.
stalking at that time? I think that's who it was back in 97.
Going over to her mother's house. And I think she got an EPO at that time or something on me and asked me not to come around there. She started having to bring my kid over a different way.
Okay. So most of your criminal history, would you say, is all drug related or drug induced?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
All right, sir. So let's talk about your programming. You're currently in SAP, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me how that's going. How you're adapting the SAP regiment or case related to the education they're providing you with SAP. How are
Well,
you adapting that to your problems that you've had in the past?
it's helped me a lot more with like camera checks and being able to ask for help when I'm starting to get stressed out or feeling like I have a problem. I can always ask for help. I've heard a lot of other people's stories, and there's a lot of people in here for drugs, and it's opened my eyes to I'm knowing now it's the wrong path. Drugs ain't for me. I don't need them. I'm never going to have a life if I'm doing drugs. They've been helping me where I could do my math and all better in there and all that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just confused.
Understand, it's a big day for you. Just
But
stay focused and we'll get through this. Just answer the questions I've asked you and just, try to calm down and think. So you took SAT back in 22 and you're in it now.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you adapting it from 22 to now? How do you feel like has it changed for you? The whole your desire to focus on it?
Yeah, I've learned a lot more to focus on the picture and with my, like, if I figure I want to do something, I've learned to take them steps into doing it. And when I got out there last time, I wasn't doing drugs. It was just that I went to my brother's house that messed me up and got me back into that life.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
now I know I want to stay away from. I love my family, but I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be around them like that because I know they're in that life, and that's not what I want.
So is
So
most of your family in the drug life?
yes, yeah. I got a couple of brothers that sell drugs. My dad got us on it when we was a kid. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I got 11 older brothers, and a lot of them drink. Or one of my brothers died of heroin overdose, so I've never touched heroin or never picked up a needle. It's messed up my whole family life since I can remember. Drugs have messed up everything from
Okay.
that I
All
can
right.
remember.
So you believe SAP is a good thing for you right now. How
Yes.
far along are you in SAP?
I graduate SAP the 25th of next month, February.
Okay. Good deal. Congratulations on that. And
Thank
you
you.
said you're working on your GED?
Yes, I'm trying to get. Someone taught me how to read, so I'm learning to read better. My only problem is spelling. I'm not the best at spelling, so that's what I'm working on now.
Okay. Now tell me why you were in MRT and you were terminated from that. Tell me about your MRT class that you were in.
Actually, somebody told me I was in MRT. I never seen the list. Nobody told me I was going to MRT.
Uh-huh.
And I guess if you miss 3 classes, you're kicked out or something. But nobody told me I was supposed to be in MRT because when I signed up for SAP, that was my main goal, was getting in SAP and finishing SAP. And I didn't know till afterwards that somebody signed me up for MRT, and I missed the 3 classes and they kicked me out.
Okay.
And I never made it to any of them classes.
Okay. All right, sir. So let's talk about your disciplinary. When you met the board the last time, they asked that you have clear conduct.
Yes, ma'am.
How's that gone?
I've had two. I've had 2 write-ups.
You met the board in April of 24. And it
Yes.
looks like you caught a write-up in June of that year, of June of 24. And it was minor. It was just y'all were covering up a light or something to that effect.
Oh yeah, they had white foggy stuff on the window.
Okay.
When I moved in there and I explained that to him and he knocked it down.
And then you've had one stealing or possessing of a stolen good less than $100.
Yeah, it was a roll of toilet paper that I stuck on the side of the shelf when I cleaned the officer's pavilion in the bathroom. And M.A. Foster came up and picked it up and they accused me saying I stuck it there on purpose. So we both got blamed for it. But
Were you trying to take that toilet paper?
No, I stuck it to the side. I was the bathroom cleaner and the officer's cab. I clean all the officer's cab, the desk, sweep up, mop up, and I cleaned the toilet paper. We didn't have paper towels, and when I stuck it to the side, Foster come over and picked it up, and they broke both of us up.
Okay. All right. What about was that unauthorized transfer of money or property? Was that the same offense?
No, I don't think so. That night they wrote me up for passing a roll of toilet paper to somebody.
Okay, so toilet paper's been your downfall there.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, throughout your incarceration period, you've had quite a substantial number of write-ups throughout. What has stemmed or caused all of these write-ups? Do you have a hard time following authority, or what's the biggest deal with the write-ups?
Yeah. When I was at KSR, it was being in the wrong crowd and trying to fit in, and I'm listening to what they're telling me to do. And since then, since I seen you guys last time I seen you, I've gotten out of that crowd. I've been keeping the clear conduct. I've only had the 2 write-ups in the last 9 months for the toilet paper. I've had no bad write-ups at all since last time I seen you all. I just knew I was hanging around with the wrong crowd, and then I was letting them talk me into stuff, and I worked my way away from that and know that I need to work for myself and not for them.
Okay, sir. I see that you do have some mental health issues. You have some bipolar depression and PTSD and OCD and psychotic disorders. You have had a history of cutting yourself, as you mentioned earlier, when the smoke detector deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe your mental health has contributed to some of these disciplinaries?
Yes. Yes, I do.
How are you handling your mental health now?
I'm
Are you
doing
on
a lot.
any medications?
No, they got me on nothing. I'm actually doing a lot better. I'm a lot more relieved, and I've learned how to deal with my stress and deal with the problems that I'm having in my head a lot more. And now I know I can go and talk to them, the staff, about any problems I'm having, and they talk to me. It all
So are
started
you,
when
go ahead.
sorry. It all started when I was a kid and my mom was hitting me and I had no one to talk to, and I started cutting. But now I realize that I got people I can talk to, and I haven't done it in a while. I've been getting a lot of help. I know I
Good.
can ask.
So are you currently seeing a mental health professional, or do you have a visit with them occasionally?
Yeah, we got a mental health lady that's down at the hospital here,
Uh-huh.
the
And
EMA
that's
hospital.
helpful to you
Yeah, I can talk to her every 90 days.
every 90 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in between that 90 days, how are you dealing with your mental health? I mean, are you using some of the techniques that you've learned from some of your programming, or?
Yes, the 10 count to 10, when I have a problem, or go sit by myself and think the problem over and realize it's not really a problem. It's something that could have been took care of a lot easier. But I've learned to sit back and think about it and count to 10 before I react.
Mhm. So have you been on medication for mental health before?
Yes, when I was on the streets, when I was growing up.
Okay. And did you go off of those meds?
Yeah, when I got locked up, I wasn't
So
getting,
when you went off those meds, did you just go off cold turkey?
yeah, I was locked up and they wasn't giving me no more.
Wow. That had to make it very difficult.
At first it did. When I first started doing time, I was doing all kinds of weird stuff, getting in a lot of trouble, hurting myself,
Uh-huh.
cursing people out. And over time, I've learned to deal with it a lot better and count to 10 and sit back and think about the problem before I react.
Okay. So do you believe your mental health has improved since you saw the board the last time?
Yes. Yes. If you look at the last time I've seen you guys, I've had a lot of write-ups in between. And these last 9 months, I've been doing a lot better. The only thing they got it on me is that toilet paper where Foster picked it up and we both got the write-up for it. But I've
Okay.
had no cutting write-ups or no cursing or any write-ups.
Okay. All right, sir. Let's talk about what you would do if you were granted the privilege of parole. How would life be for you? Where would you go? How would you survive and cope?
I'd like to get a job back at U-Haul, but I signed up for the Goodwill program and they gave us a lot of stuff. They found me a place to stay in Louisville.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go to Louisville. They said they'll give me work. They got work lined out for us. We just had another program here about 2 weeks ago, where he came up and visited us. So he's got us home placement. He's got us a job when we get out there, and I'm wanting to get back at school somehow. He said he can help me with that. He said the Goodwill program will pay for that. So
I would hope you would continue to work on your GED if you were granted the privilege of parole.
I am. I want to get a degree in construction or something for real. I like construction. I like putting stuff together.
Okay.
But
So you would go to Louisville, correct?
yeah.
Have you been approved for any, or have you looked into any halfway houses or just the Aspire program?
Yeah, the Aspire program, but I was accepted in not the good Oxford House.
Okay.
So I would go to the Oxford House, then I got to call him up, the Goodwill guy. He gave me his card, and they're going to get me in a place on Broadway that they have and get us a job.
All right, sir. I believe you have answered all the questions that I have. If you would be so gracious and answer the questions of my colleagues.
Okay.
Mr. Helbig? 'Cause, 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 'c
Uh, Mr. Force, what's your education level?
I was in 11th grade, but I was in learning disability and disabled classes all my life.
Okay, because it on our record card it doesn't show your level. Have you taken any opportunity to try to get your GED?
Yes, here I have. They just now got the teacher. For a long time, they didn't have a teacher here. They just now
Okay.
hired a teacher. They just now, do you know when? Miss Woods, they just gave her a job here.
Okay,
So
how much do you think you have left before you get your GED completed?
what do you mean in school?
Yeah, I mean you
Um,
got to the 11th grade. How much do you need? I mean, obviously you don't have to take all of the GED. I mean, you'd have to take the test, but I mean, how long do you think it would take you to get your GED?
Honestly, I don't know because I have problems with spelling out words and I have
Sure.
problems with, I could do plus and times table, but I can't do the E4, I don't know. I don't understand that kind of math. So
Okay.
if that's in the GED test, I'm probably going to have a problem with that. But I want to get my GED. If it's in here
Right.
or out there, I'm going to get it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's my question. I understanding your issues that you have. That's why I asked how long do you think it would take you to complete your GED?
I wish they
Um,
just give me the GED test, but I don't know how long it'll take me because my pronouncing the words, spelling them out better is, I have a problem with that.
okay. All right. That's all I had, Miss Fields. I was just checking on his education level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elbick. Mr. Deglow?
Mr. Force, I was just looking through the last time you were before the board pretty much only asked you to do one thing, right?
Yes, sir.
What they ask you to do,
I keep clear conduct.
right? And I've been looking at this disciplinary report and the photos associated with the disciplinary report. Any chance that Mr. Foster looks exactly like you or very similar to you?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm looking at these photos and somebody reaches over the top of a wall that's evident to separate the inmates from the people, the staff. Somebody reaches over and grabs toilet paper there.
Yeah,
And
they said the toilet paper got took.
was that you that took the toilet paper off the staff?
I was cleaning. I clean all the office area. What is it? The cab, and I stuck the toilet paper over by the thing because they didn't have the paper towels.
You stuck the toilet paper over by the thing.
Over by where the officer's desk was over the wall when I
so
was working up there.
so you're the one that put it up there. You're saying somebody
Yeah.
else came and took it off, correct?
No, I picked it up off there, but they're saying Foster came up and stole the toilet paper later at night. I picked the toilet paper up because I'm the one that stuck it there.
Okay. Who took it off the staff's area?
I don't know. They said Foster in the write-up came and took it off the thing, but there was a time when I was working up there and I stuck it to the side, and when I left, I came back and picked it up.
Well, there's somebody that looks very similar to you taking it off.
If it was when I cleaned the officer's desk, yeah, I'm the one that grabbed it at that time. But they said Foster came back up there and stole it. I did stick it over by the door, and when I came back in, I picked it back up. I got the microwaves to clean.
Things off. Why are you taking things off? Can't really tell. It looks a whole lot like you.
Yeah, I work up there
Permitted to take things off the staff's desk?
while I'm working up there. Like paper towels, if they got paper towels, they had no paper towels that day, so I had the toilet paper. Because after I do the officers deck, I got to do the microwaves.
Okay,
After
I'm going to get back here. I'm not worried about the microwaves.
Okay.
There's information here that you took this toilet paper that was off the desk and you removed it and you went somewhere
Yeah.
with it. Is your goal as your role as the person cleaning that area? Are you permitted to take this toilet paper off that desk?
Yes, or paper towels. I work back behind the desk. So
All right.
when they don't have paper towels, I use toilet paper.
Okay, but they found you guilty of that, right?
Yes, sir.
And actually, they found you guilty of two different things that day,
Yes, sir.
according to and the only thing that you were asked to do was to have clear conduct. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I didn't.
Just wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yes, sir.
Just want to make sure who you were in these pictures as well, so I could understand the situation better. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
All right, Mr. Force, now is your opportunity to tell us anything that we might not have covered, and tell us why we should grant you the privilege of parole.
I've got my life together. I'm not doing drugs no more. I don't plan on going back out there to my family. As you said, I've got over 20 years and I just want my life back. I want to get out there and I want my kid back in my life. I want to get my own place and I want to put this behind me. And I'm hoping to get my GED and get a better graduate in some kind of college or something for construction. I've
Okay.
calmed down. I've calmed down a lot. I know I've had 2 write-ups since last time I seen you, but none of them are as bad as the write-ups that I used to get anymore. You can see I've calmed down. And I'm in SAP about to finish the program.
All right, sir. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir. If you will just remain there in the room, we'll be back with you shortly, okay? We're going to go off camera.
All right.
Recording stopped.
Ben knows I didn't steal that toilet paper. He went in there. We
Recording in progress.
All right, we are back on record with Michael Force, DOC number 167341. Mr. Force, can you see, hear, and understand me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Force, it is the decision of this board that we are going to reinstate your parole, but we want you to complete the substance abuse program, so it'll be a parole upon completion, okay?
Thank you.
You are to have the use of no alcohol. You're to have no contact with the victims of your crimes. And you are to complete any programs deemed necessary by the Division of Probation and Parole. If your parole officer tells you to do something, we expect you to do it. We want you to seek a mental health evaluation in the community and follow those recommendations. Hopefully you can get some help for your mental health. Sir, if you mess up with this, you'll come back and, you'll be serving out the rest of your time, more than likely. So I ask you to take this seriously, change your places and people you associate with, get involved in the Aspire program, get you a good job, work on your GED. That's another stipulation that we want you to do, is to work towards your GED. We believe you can do that and it'll make you a much better person and much more employable. So with that said, good luck to you and we wish you the best.
All right, thanks to all 3 of you.
Good
You're
luck.
welcome, sir.
Recording stopped.
Mhm.